Lucina from the Fire Emblem series and the clone of Marth gets her own Amiibo figure. Hey Nintendo fans and collectors, Lithium here from my channel Nintendo Collecting, bringing you an unboxing video and review of Lucina the Amiibo figure. Now this one absolutely has a lot of detail in it because that's the character design from the Fire Emblem series, but let's just take a look at this before we unbox it using our X-Acto knife. So here we do have a picture of the character, obviously, and for those of you following the numbering system, which is usually I think up here or over here in Europe, this one is number 31. I wish we got that kind of thing in North America, but I just am kind of lining them up in terms of number anyways. So we do have a good depiction of Lucina right here, and of course there's a lot of detail on these Fire Emblem figures for the Super Smash Bros. Amiibo line. They look absolutely fantastic. The name in the background there too. And on the back you do have what you can do with this character. Remember, try and level up this character to level 50 and have them fight alongside of you in Super Smash Bros. I do have a Marth figure here unboxed already, so I'm going to compare the two because they are clone characters. They do look really similar. So let's get to actually opening this one up. Now, even though they're clone characters, I think it's funny because Sakurai said this time around he doesn't really want clone characters in Smash Bros. And yet, I feel like there's quite a few of them, especially when there's so many characters from the Fire Emblem series. But this one is the definition of a clone. Dr. Mario to Mario is not incredibly a clone. I mean, it's really close, but at least their moveset's entirely different. But Lucina's moveset is remarkably similar, obviously, to Marth's, if it's not the same. The main difference, though, is that her power lies in the entirety of the blade of her sword, whereas I think Marth's is only in the tip of his sword is how you want to hit people. So if you're really good with Marth, you might want to try Lucina out for a change, because, like I said, she's a more balanced character in terms of how much damage she does when you strike an opponent with any part of the blade. So here we just take her out of the box. Now, I really liked Marth, so I'm probably going to really like this one as well. So let's just take a good look at this one with all the detail work. Incredible detail on the Fire Emblem figures, once again. The sword looks stunning. There's a good gold piece that goes down the middle, or runs down the middle. I even like the design of the sword, actually, to be honest. There's some excellent, excellent detail work in this. And I didn't even notice this one. There is a stand for Lucina, but it's very, very, it's very well done. You can tell it's there, but not nearly as much, of course, as the other ones. The ones that were colored, like Lynx and Foxes, stand out so much, and even, I think Diddy Kong had a colored stand. This one, you can't really notice it at all, and I guess it was just because they were fearful of the skinny ankles and legs that Lucina does have that maybe would break over the long term. So I don't really mind a stand when it's like this. I think it's well done. Her hair looks pretty awesome, actually. It almost reminds me of a Dragon Ball Z character, the way her hair is, when they're not Super Saiyan. I love the way the cape is designed and the way it flows on this figure. I think it looks really cool. So I just think this figure is really well done overall. Let's just take a look at the height and size of this one. Height, she is, I guess, about 3.75 inches tall, and in terms of centimeters, roughly 90 millimeters, or 9 centimeters. And let's just compare the two of these figures to one another. They do have very, very similar style, obviously. I think Marth just looks slightly different because of that red button he has, and she has some sort of different red insignia on it. I don't really like how Lucina's covering a lot of her face. I think that's the same problem that happened with Little Mac, kind of covering his own face a bit. So I really wish maybe her arm was slightly lower so that you could see it. And the figure is supposed to be displayed this way because you can see the Super Smash Bros. Symbol that you want to have facing you like that. So I do think her face is a little bit covered, but it almost looks like she's a little bit coy. I think they are very similar in height. Just, it's interesting to note, I guess, Marth's hair looks a little bit more blue, and I think his cape is slightly lighter blue as well. I'm not really sure why. So I actually really like this figure, other than the fact that, A, there's a small stand that you can see. Well, there's a big stand that you can see, but you can barely see it. And she's covering her face a little bit. I still would give this one, because there's so much detail in this, like an 8 out of 10 to an 8.5 out of 10. Because it's a clone, it might drop a lot of marks for you, but I would love to hear your opinion. Just comment below the video, what would you give Lucina out of 10? Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to fill that like bucket, watch me on, or follow me on all the social media links in the description below the video. And remember, as always, go collect them all and keep smiling while gaming.